Well, good afternoon folks, and welcome back to the channel. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you with yet another scenery review, which actually I'm not really going to do. First of all, let me explain to you, those of you who are new viewers or those of you who have not known about it, I have a website, VirtualAirlinePilot.org. Generally on the Sundays I post images and details of the reviews I'm going to be doing in the following week. Now, I've already done one review this week where we looked at Islip MacArthur in New York, and I was going to do the review here of Malé in the Maldives, the payware scenery by S Design. We're looking at that now. It's dusk, and it's actually not too bad a scenery really. However, there is one great big show-stopping issue, and that is the fact that the runway, the new runway, which you can see there on the right, is not commissioned in the scenery. Which means that any of you who want to do ILS or RNAV approaches into this airport, especially during the darkness hours, can't do it because you'll get lined up with the wrong runway, because the current ARAC supports the new runway. I've contacted S Design, but so far has not received any reply or response about a possible fix for this. There is a good freeware out. In fact, there are a couple of them, and I believe the freeware suffers from the same issue. With the new runway active, all of the sceneries that are available, including this payware one, don't have the new runway active, so you can't do instrument approaches. That said, the scenery is not too bad at all. It's quite detailed. The texturing is not great, especially on the buildings. There really isn't any weathering to speak of. However, it does include the seaplane base, the seaplanes and various bits and pieces, and the scenery itself is good enough to do visual approaches only into this airport. But as I said, the showstopper, and this is the initial release, version 1, no update since then, and as I said, no response yet to my email from the developer. The big showstopper is the inability to use the new runway, which should be active, but of course it's not. The other issue is the price. Obviously, that being such a big showstopper, the price of €14.40 is a little high. It really kind of makes the scenery quite redundant. So this is just going to be a short little thing to tell you that actually my comments and conclusions are that the scenery itself is actually not too bad. It's not the best. We're not talking top development here, but it's quite adequate in terms of in terms of what's available for the airport of Malé here. But as I said, it does have some issues. It's not as well modeled as the sort of stuff we expect from some of the top developers. There is PBR texturing, but there is a real lack of weathering and merging, certainly in the terrain around the airport, which really doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't make it worth €14. It's probably nearer €8 to €9. But anyway, let me give you the details anyway, in case you're interested. This is VELANA International Airport in Malé, in the islands of the Maldives. Victor Romeo Mike Mike. We're looking at the payware scenery by S Design. This is version 1, the initial release for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. It downloads at just under a gig, and installs at 2.4 gigs, and it's currently available on Sim Market. No reduction in the price yet, but who knows, that may happen. And like I said, it's good enough for visual approaches. But you probably can't do the instrument approaches, and you certainly can't really see the new runway at night time. Current price is €14.40, which equates to roughly $15.82 US, or £12.66 UK. Those prices are estimates from the euro and include tax and VAT, which of course may vary depending on your country of purchase. So I'll just tell you what the features are as showcased by the developer. It says the airport is modelled with PBR materials, and they have 3D grass and trees and custom vegetation. The custom vegetation really, there is a bit of it. There's some palm trees and bits and pieces which looks quite nice. However, the green grass and stuff over here is a little bit out of character with the original satellite images, and some of the merging here on the coastline doesn't work too well, unfortunately. We're looking at the very late afternoon, and you can see it doesn't look too bad. It looks quite pleasant. There are lots of buildings and lots of things there for you to look at, and things that essentially make the airport come to life. It does sort of tend to come to life after dark a little bit. There you can see the bridge that connects the airport island to the city of Male on the right hand side, which is also very nicely modelled and looks great at night. However, you can still see that the traffic travels across the water under the bridge. So as I said, this isn't the top-notch scenery, but if you're looking for the airport of Male, I think this does a far better job than the default. The jury is out, I think, as to whether this is better than the currently available modifications available from flightsim.to. I've looked at those too, they're quite nice, but like I said, the big problem at the moment is that the new runway is already commissioned, but it's not available for use in this payware or in the freeware sceneries. I'm hoping that will change. If it does, I will post an update. So that really is it. Like I said, my sort of thoughts about the whole thing really. Visually it's quite nice, it has lots of detail, but there's very little weathering and texturing. The old runway of course is still active, and that is the big showstopper. Some vehicles do cross the runway, and you've got quite a bit of low resolution ground photo around. The bridge looks great, especially at night, and it looks pretty nice in the dawn as well. So there you go folks, Male International Airport, or VELANA as it's now known, Victor Romeo Mike. Payware scenery by S Design, should you be interested in purchasing it. As I said, I'm not going to review it at the moment. I've decided not to do this, mainly because of that big showstopper where the runway is, the new current runway is not active and you can't exactly use it. I'm hoping I might hear from S Design, we'll see. They really need to fix that, and they really could do with adding some weathering to the buildings to make this thing look a little bit more realistic. It's a good little scenery. It really does update the island and the airport, but there's more to do, and I really would like to see them do that to make it worth the money. But initially I'd like to see the runway problem solved. That's the biggest problem with using this airport. Perfectly okay if you can do visual approaches during the day, where you can switch to the left-hand runway, but you can't do instrument approaches because you'll be lined up with the wrong runway. So I apologise for not doing this review. I already said I would, but we'll do something else. I've got possibly a little adventure landing coming up into Alicante Airport. I'll try and get that out before the weekend. So thanks for joining me folks for this little bits and pieces that I'm going to show you. Again, I apologise for not doing the review, but there is a showstopper in this product and it needs to be fixed. Welcome any comments by anybody, and especially welcome anything from S Design that might come in due course. So thanks for your time guys, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, saying thanks for joining me. You guys take care. Bye bye for now.